English Hidden Podcast.
Daily life English conversation.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to English Hidden Podcast. I'm James.
And I'm Sarah.
Today, we're talking about something that almost everyone experiences at some point. Overthinking.
If you've ever worried too much, found it difficult to make a simple decision, or replayed the same situation over and over in your mind, then today's conversation is for you.
Let's get started. Sarah, can I ask you a question?
Of course. I had a feeling you were going to say that. Go ahead.
When was the last time you spent too much time thinking about something?
Honestly, just yesterday. I wanted to reply to a simple text message, but I kept reading it again and again. I changed my reply 5 or 6 times. I wanted every word to sound perfect.
And what happened?
After almost 20 minutes, I realized I had spent more time thinking about the message than the person who sent it probably spent writing it.
That's actually funny. But I think many people can relate to that.
Do you ever overthink things? Or are you one of those people who makes decisions quickly?
Oh, I definitely overthink sometimes. A few weeks ago, I wanted to buy a new pair of headphones. I compared prices, read reviews, watched videos, and kept asking myself, what if there's a better one?
Let me guess. You still hadn't bought them by the end of the day.
Exactly. In fact, I waited almost a week. And when I finally bought them, I wondered why I had made such a simple decision feel so difficult.
That's interesting. It seems like overthinking doesn't just waste time. It also steals our energy.
I couldn't agree more. Sometimes we think we're solving a problem, but in reality, we're just going around in circles.
Why do you think our minds do that? Why can't we simply make a decision and move on?
I think it's because we want certainty. We want to know that every decision will be the right one. But life doesn't work like that. There's always a little uncertainty.
That's true. No matter how much we think, we can never know exactly what's going to happen.
Exactly. Sometimes, the best decision isn't the perfect one. It's simply the one that helps you move forward.
I like that. Because staying stuck doesn't make life better. Taking action usually teaches us much more than endless thinking.
Absolutely. And I think that's exactly what we'll explore today. Why do we overthink? How does it affect our happiness? And what simple habits can help us break free from it?
James, can I ask you another question?
Of course. Go ahead.
Do you think overthinking is always a bad thing? Or can it sometimes be helpful?
That's a great question. I don't think thinking carefully is a problem. In fact, it's often a good idea. The problem begins when thinking turns into worrying. When we stop making progress and start repeating the same thoughts again and again.
So, there's a difference between careful thinking and overthinking.
Exactly. Imagine you're planning a trip. It's smart to compare hotels, check the weather, and make a budget. But if you spend 3 weeks worrying about every tiny detail, you might never book the trip at all.
That actually sounds like me. Last year, I wanted to visit another city for the weekend. Instead of enjoying the idea, I kept asking myself, what if the weather is bad? What if I choose the wrong hotel? What if I waste my money?
So, did you finally go?
No. I stayed home. A month later, I looked at the photos my friends had taken during their trips. They looked so happy. That's when I realized my biggest problem wasn't the weather. It was my own fear.
I think many people have experienced something similar. Sometimes, our imagination creates problems that never actually happen.
That's true. It's amazing how our minds can turn a small decision into something that feels impossible.
Exactly. And the strange thing is, most of our fears never become reality. We spend hours worrying about things that never happen.
Why do you think our brains do that?
I think our brains are trying to protect us. They want us to avoid mistakes. But sometimes, they become too protective. Instead of helping us move forward, they keep telling us to wait.
So, our brain is trying to keep us safe. But sometimes, being too safe keeps us from growing.
Exactly. Think about learning English. If you're always waiting until your English is perfect, you'll probably never start speaking.
That's so true. I've heard many people say, I'll start speaking English when I know more vocabulary.
But that's not how confidence grows. Confidence comes after action, not before it.
I really like that sentence. Confidence comes after action. I think many people need to hear that.
Absolutely. Every confident person you meet was once a beginner. They also made mistakes. They also felt nervous. The difference is, they didn't let fear stop them.
So, if someone realizes they're overthinking, what's the first step they should take?
I'd say, keep it simple. Ask yourself, what's one small action I can take right now? Not tomorrow. Not next week. Right now.
That sounds much easier. Instead of solving my whole life today, I only need to take one small step.
Exactly. One small decision today can lead to a completely different future. Sarah, there's something I've noticed. People who overthink often ask themselves one question. What if something goes wrong?
That's true. I ask myself that question all the time. Before making a decision. Before meeting someone new. Even before trying something I've never done before.
I used to do the same. But one day, I asked myself a different question.
Really? What was it?
Instead of asking, what if something goes wrong? I asked, what if everything works out?
That's such a simple change. But it completely changes the way you think.
Exactly. Most overthinkers imagine the worst possible future. Very few people stop and imagine the best one.
I never realized that before. When I think about my future, I usually focus on everything that could go wrong.
And that's exhausting. Because your mind is trying to solve problems that don't even exist yet.
Do you think social media makes overthinking worse?
Sometimes. Yes. We see people smiling, traveling, getting promotions, buying new homes, and suddenly, we start comparing our lives to theirs.
I've experienced that. I'll open my phone for just 5 minutes. Then I start wondering, am I doing enough? Am I successful enough? Am I falling behind?
The problem is, we're comparing our everyday life to someone else's best moments. That's never a fair comparison.
You're right. People usually share their happiest memories. They don't often share their fears, their failures, or their difficult days.
Exactly. Everyone has challenges. Some people simply hide them better than others.
So maybe, instead of comparing ourselves to other people, we should compare ourselves to who we were yesterday.
I couldn't agree more. Real success isn't about being better than everyone else. It's about becoming a little better than you were before.
James, has overthinking ever stopped you from doing something important?
Yes. A long time ago, I wanted to start a small online project. I had lots of ideas, but I kept thinking, it's not ready. I need more experience. I'll start next month. Months turned into almost a year.
What finally changed?
One day, I realized something. Waiting wasn't making me better. Practice was. So I stopped trying to make everything perfect. And I simply began.
And what happened?
I made mistakes. Quite a few, actually. But every mistake taught me something. If I had kept waiting, I wouldn't have learned any of those lessons.
That's inspiring. Maybe mistakes aren't the opposite of success. Maybe they're part of success.
Exactly. Nobody improves without making mistakes. Every expert was once a beginner. Every confident speaker once felt nervous. Every successful person once had doubts. The important thing is that they didn't stop.
I think that's something all of us should remember. Progress begins the moment we stop waiting for perfection. James, after everything we've talked about today, I think I finally understand something. Overthinking doesn't really protect us. Sometimes, it simply keeps us from living.
I think that's a beautiful way to describe it. Many people believe they're being careful, but in reality, they're just postponing their own happiness.
So, if someone listening to us realizes they're an overthinker, where should they begin?
I'd tell them not to change everything overnight. Just choose one small decision. And trust yourself enough to make it. Maybe it's sending that message, applying for that job, starting that English lesson, or simply saying yes to a new opportunity.
That sounds much easier. Instead of changing my whole life today, I only need to take one small step.
Exactly. Small actions may not look impressive at first, but they create big changes over time. One decision becomes one habit. One habit becomes a better future.
I also think we should be kinder to ourselves. Sometimes, we're our own biggest critic.
That's true. We often forgive other people's mistakes, but we keep replaying our own mistakes for weeks. Learning to let go is part of becoming happier.
James, can I ask you one final question?
I was wondering when the last question would arrive. Go ahead.
If our listeners remember only one thing from today's conversation, what should it be?
I'd say this. Don't let fear make your decisions. It's okay to think. It's okay to plan. But don't spend so much time preparing for life that you forget to actually live it.
I love that. Life isn't about making perfect decisions. It's about learning from every decision we make.
Exactly. Every mistake teaches you something. Every experience helps you grow. And every small step brings you closer to the person you want to become.
Before we finish, let's look at today's word focus.
Word 1. Overthink. Overthink means to think about something too much. Example. I overthought the interview and couldn't sleep.
Word 2. Confidence. Confidence means believing in yourself. Example. Speaking English every day helped build my confidence.
Word 3. Decision. A decision is a choice you make. Example. Making one small decision can change your future.
Word 4. Progress. Progress means improving little by little. Example. I'm making progress with my English every week.
Word 5. Opportunity. An opportunity is a chance to do something good. Example. Learning English opens new opportunities.
We hope today's conversation reminded you that happiness doesn't come from thinking about life forever. It comes from living it.
Thank you so much for spending your time with us today. Keep practicing your English. Keep believing in yourself. And remember, sometimes the smallest step is the beginning of the biggest change.
We'll see you in the next episode of English Hidden Podcast, Daily Life English Conversation. Take care and have a wonderful day.